Very suspicious. There's no colors.
No.
So it's gonna teach me to paint without colors. Where are all my colors?
JC's Art Journal has joined us. Melanie.
Oh my god, they are coming in already. Woo!
Cassie. Kristen.
I was taking my nap.
Red Scorpio, good to see you again. Donna, how are you?
Ooh, is it Donna?
It is.
Sherpa Donna?
Mr. Jim Hans, how's it going?
Oh, Jim. Jim's a fan now. He's on right away.
He just knows he can take a nap right now.
That's his break time. Oh my god, look at all those people are early. It's only 1:59.
Oh,
you.
Millie says hello from Florida. Donna's very excited.
Okay.
Noeletta says hello.
Let me just...
Red Scorpio loves the live videos. For those of you who are new, I read things from the background occasionally because Pierre cannot see what's going on. So he does this all blind.
I'm blind.
Carving Out Time is saying hello from Central Florida. Oh, True Noir, hello. Hopefully you've been in the studio a little bit lately.
Oh, I know. I want to show, since we are watercolor, while we wait.
Valerie Collymore says hello, Pierre.
Bonjour, Valérie. I got your email. Here. Can people see it like this?
Humble Harper says hello from Pennsylvania.
How does it show? Does it show?
It looks good. Looks good.
This is a live watercolor. I mean, that's a watercolor that Keiko did live, a couple weeks ago. So
We have hellos coming from Florida, from Jacksonville.
She sent me just
Pennsylvania.
All right. That's my bridge in Paris. That's Keiko who did that Notre Dame a few weeks before the burn off from my bridge, my grandfather's bridge.
Arizona, New York.
And that's
Marianne said she really enjoyed your presentation at Plein Air Live last week.
Yeah? All right. Oh, did you like Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. No, it was funny because I think that she's referring to I was very proud to be one of the keynote speaker at the opening of the Plein Air Live.
Ruthie has joined us.
And on that live, it was a Plein Air magazine through my publishing. And I was on the first day was the 14th of July, Bastille Day. And the surprise, I started singing the Marseillaise, the French anthem. And I had a lot of feedback on that. So it was fun.
Hello, Valerie.
Oh, my God, we have two Valerie.
We do. Noeletta was very impressed with the brush that you have in your hand.
See? So, that's actually a brush we made originally, it was for cosmetic brushes, and it was for display. I think it was either Chanel or Dior. So, I took one.
Harper is making a request. She wants La Vie en Rose. Rosé?
La Vie en Rose. You want me to sing you La Vie en Rose? In fact, I learned that song to sing it for weddings. And I'll do that next time because I need to refresh my memory on the lyrics. But if it's a dare, I'll take the dare. I'll sing La Vie en Rose next time. How's that?
Hello, Erica.
La Vie en Rose. Voilà. Okay, so what do you say, boss?
I think we are looking good. You are looking good.
202. 202 is, so shall we start this? Bonjour, Ruthie, and hello, everybody. So, you ready? You tell me. 1, 2, 3. Bonjour! This is Pierre from Savoir-Faire, and here we are in Novato, California, just a few miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge. And this is my weekly, live, which is started 132 days ago. It started by the day we heard from the mayor of San Francisco that we have to go shelter in place. I didn't even know that expression. I thought it was a reminiscence from the Cold War era or something. It was very scary. And then we shut down. Midday, Monday, March 16, closed. Everybody went home. Everybody was stunned. We didn't know what to do. So then the following Friday, I decided to do those live. And it was not live about marketing, sales, business. It was just everybody was so scattered, so isolated. No one knew what's going on, what will be going on. So I decided to address my friend, and it's beautiful because now every week it looks like the Friday party that my friends regroup, and I love it because it's a mix of many, it's like my community now almost, from customers, like stores, like, today we just Ruthie, she's from Blick, but there's many other customers. I didn't see who else is there today, but always there's a lot of my great direct customers, but also a lot of artists, my friends, my family. There is teachers, there is influencers, there is museums, and it's every week you come back. So it's been like that. So every week I've addressed the problem of the COVID-19 and the challenge of isolation. Then we talked about when there was the problem, I brought some people who talk about that. And then there's one thing in common every time is art. Art is good for you, art is good for the world. This is my statement. People call me now artivist because I believe, and it's proven, art is good. And in those difficult times, it's been proven every day. I see amazing, beautiful things. More people are painting, more people are sharing their art. Even though there is all those challenges with the museum and gallery, most of them closed or virtual, still people want to share, and art is the best vehicle. People are tired of the computer, the phone, all that. You can feel the brush, when you feel, a scroll hair or something, it's just touch and feel and share. So sharing how we can share in art. You can share like we do. If you have art supplies that you don't use anymore or you have access to, give it to the people in need. People who don't even think they know how to paint or they are intimidated, give it to them. It's amazing. I've been doing that in my neighborhood. I live near to a housing project, and oh my God, every day people come back and thank me. Oh my God, I didn't draw, I didn't paint in many years. Oh, thank you so much. In fact, I'm painting a refuge. People who have mental problem, you depressed, you paranoid, you schizophrenic, whatever you might be going through, a heartbreak, a grieving, whatever, art, just express it. When we were talking about injustice, you want to talk about injustice, paint it, share it. It's so beautiful. Or you have artwork, give your artwork, or sell your art. Art is the best for the community. So that has been the trend. It turns out every week I talk about that and I use example and all that. So it's great. So art is like a remedy. It's therapeutic and it's encouraging. For kids, it's good even for math, for science, for all that. So if we want to look at one thing beneficial about what's been happening is the recognition and the discovery of art, how art is essential. That was the whole point. That's what we stayed open with Maureen because we believe art is essential. So we need to provide you, with the right material. So, and it's time to discover, and sometimes people are stuck in the way. It was very interesting when we were talking with Michael Mettler, last time, I remember that, is the fact that it's not, you may be used to one kind of product, or one kind of medium, watercolor, oil acrylic. Experiment, change. Don't necessarily want to be an expert in one medium. You have to open. So, anyway, one thing I wanted to say also, and I'm sure we may have a guest coming up soon. And today it's a little surprise. I don't really know what's going on, so we'll see. So I just want to say one thing. And again, this platform is not for political, so it's apolitical. However, there've been all this debate for masks. From the get-go, mid-March, you would see me outside with a scarf. I was wearing a scarf. That was the first reflex. So you need to protect yourself, not for yourself, only for the other. So don't think of a mask being a political statement. It's just a courtesy. Now here in California, we're supposed to wear the mask in any public place, inside, and outside some place not. But now it's a courtesy, is you wear your mask when you cross paths with people. And it's it's okay, just put it. So anyway, on that note, I think we're ready to have fun. So what's going on? That's another thing from Keiko.
And our friend, we've had many friends join, including Cinnamon, who we're going to invite. But we have also had Sarah has joined.
Bonjour, Sarah.
Catherine has joined.
Catherine. I hope Catherine's going to ask a good question. She was the first to ask the best question.
Valentin.
Valentin. Bonjour, Valentin. He's been watching me the last few weeks. And Valentin, I call him Valentin. It's really Valentine here. And I told him to show up this time.
And Cinnamon is with us.
Woohoo! I'm with
one
you.
thing before. Look, about Valentine. Some people have seen this before. I don't know if you've seen this guy. And this is Valentine's work. So, anyway. Voila, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yes, but remember, I don't call you Cinnamon. I call you Cannelle.
I can take that. I'm good with that.
We're going to do a camera trick here real quick, okay, guys? Just a moment.
What's the camera trick?
Let's see if I can get this to flip.
There
we go.
Wonderful.
Seamless.
Bonjour, John.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va bien?
Ça va bien? Mais il parle français maintenant. C'est formidable. Alors, what am I supposed to do?
So, I thought it would be fun today when we painted with Pierre to paint Pierre.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
God, this is scary. Oh, my God.
Show Cinnamon what you're starting with.
Yeah, so.
Oh, he got it all on for you already? Oh, my goodness, I'm still getting mine on. So I wanted to make sure that you had everything you needed, and I created that, what we call traceable, which is just a contour line drawing of you that we could use. And I thought we'd use our fun little watercolor paints today. This is a really fun travel set. I think is perfect for the little bit of outdoor painting that we're allowed to do right now. Because think you could go to a little park. You could be very socially distanced. You could paint a little painting. I agree, wear a little mask. And what's wonderful about these is that they have the bungee on the back end so that you can hold them. And they come with a really gorgeous little teeny tiny little brush that's actually quite a lot of fun. These are pan watercolors. They have a bunch of fun, different colors in the pan, so you can pretty much mix anything you want, paint anything you want. They're great for landscapes, and I very much enjoy it. So I'm on the Fabriano Studio watercolor paper because I've run out of all the Artistico. I like painting.
So let me say, since you are saying that, I'm going to say a couple of words on this product. You know, hey, you guys, it's true. This is totally improvised. I had no idea that was going to take place. So, but now that I have in front of me those products, just want to say a little bit. This is the Sennelier. This is called La Petite Aquarelle. So, which is very, very special. It's, you know, we have the aquarelle, you know, the extra fine watercolor, which was exactly the same quality as used for the Impressionists in the 19th century, with honey, with all these beautiful things. And what we developed in order to make our watercolor accessible for some beginners, we came up with a line called La Petite. La Petite is, you know, the small watercolor, and it's just the same, but we're not using the very expensive pigment. So it's a little more affordable, but it's very similar. And then Fabriano Studio is, like Cinnamon said, or Canel said, she ran out of Artistico. Artistico is our top of the line, 100% cotton. But we have this studio still has cotton and have very similar textures. So short of having the top Artistico, this is a very good, and I'm going to try it. So go back.
No, it's really true. It's wonderful paper. It really is. Sometimes what happens is you get into a block when you're painting and you're just working that watercolor block. So what I'm going to come here is we have, if anybody wants to paint Pierre as well, there is a traceable on our website that they can come get. And you guys, I gave you guys a copy so you could release it on your Facebook page if anybody else wanted to paint you too. Because I thought maybe other people would want to paint Pierre with me.
Paint Pierre. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Painting Pierre with Pierre.
Paint Pierre, we should paint Pierre with cinnamon.
Well, I think it's even more fun to paint Pierre with Pierre. And this particular reference you guys gave me had such great gesture and so much fun energy, and it was so, I have to say, was so very, very, very French. This was.
Let's go over and take a look at what you're doing there.
So what I'm doing is I'm informing my line here. I had a traceable.
Let's see if we can get over here and
Goes out of the way.
there we go.
So we are just kind of loosely sketching this in. We don't need too many like structural lines because we're going to be loose in our painting today. Relaxed and calm, right? And I think it's also important in any kind of painting people. I think it's a super big deal to capture elements of their energy. Right? I also think it's really important for everyone to every once in a while do a self-portrait.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. I'm going to use my Raphael Carrel number 6. And I think I'm going to begin with some ultramarine blue because that is the Frenchest of the blue.
Hey, can I ask you a question? When you say it's very important to capture the energy, you know, the charisma, the energy. So which color is my energy?
Well, I think right now I'm starting with some ultramarine blue. And I am going to bring probably some yellow in it. I think I'm going to pull from the Cafés of Collioure. If you remember the Cafés in Collioure.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to be pulling my inspiration from. I remember that very much. And I think that seems very you. And I'm just putting in a loose amount of color. I think with watercolor, it's really wonderful because it's a relaxed medium. It doesn't require you to be perfect. You can just be playful. I'm going to put just a very light amount.
Ah, okay. So it's this one more, no? You say
yeah. This is this one right here.
Okay,
your phthalo blue is down here. So you have in this you have a nice white, a very bright yellow and orange, 2 reds. You have a bright kind of pinkish red that makes a good purple. And oh wait, there's the pinkish red that makes your good purple. All right, your carmine, or it might be a quin. And then your warm red, you got your phthalo blue, phthalo green, bright green. I have yellow ochre. I think this is burnt sienna. I probably have the colors on my little pad here. And then black. So this is really everything you need to paint anything.
Great.
You could
You
just
know,
paint anything.
I have to tell you, I feel like a little kid, surprised, getting cut on doing something I've never done before. What's hilarious, I have to tell you, I have to admit, now I'm confessing to everybody, just to, I've had the pleasure, the honor, the privilege to be with some of the greatest painters in the world, the greatest teachers, the greatest influencers, the university, museum, and all that. And they ask for my expertise. I've been coaching some of the most, helping some of the most famous painters. If only they knew that I don't know how to paint, maybe I'll lose my job. So please keep it quiet.
But how much fun is this wonderful experience that you've been having lately where you are painting? I'm going to get into the yellow, I think, definitely for the hat.
So help me. So I just put a little blue anywhere. So
yeah, it's very light. You put a little light blue on where you would do skin. What I find is sometimes we get so caught up in what we think a thing is, right? Like, why is the dog blue? That we paint what is and we forget to see what really is, what the person really is about, what the subject really is about. And if you walk away from worrying about, doing a skin tone a particular way and just paint fun colors, energetic colors, it gets you out of your own way and gets you back to playing, which is the best place for any of us to be. So just do light yellow on the hat and your shirt, and then I'll come back and kind of define it. And if you've ever been to the French coast of Collioure, you will know that there are awnings and all these bars, and they're all blue and yellow, and it's so charming. And it reminds me very much of here. All the Impressionists used to go drink there and pay their bar tabs with art, and so many of the bartenders got quite rich.
In Collioure, it was not only the Impressionists, also it got very famous also after the post-Impressionists, like the Matisse, Matisse, and it's in Collioure that the concept of the fauve, the fauvist, started with Matisse and a few others. It was very special. So in Collioure, he used to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, it's a long history of being in places that artists wanted to come and restore and relax, and I completely understand why. It is so much fun. There's nothing like getting up in the morning and walking into a bar and asking for petit déjeuner avec confiture.
Aha.
Took me a good bit of time to realize my breakfast and coffee was at the bar.
So she did a little yellow on the hat, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I put a little yellow on my hat. Right? But I'm just being playful, right? And if some of the blue goes into the yellow or some of the yellow goes into the blue, that's okay. That's the paint playing. And I don't want to take that from the paint. And I can put more yellow.
Where did she put yellow where?
And got yellow all over the shirt.
Ah, my shirt, my yellow shirt.
Shirt and hat are yellow and you are blue. And then where your eyes are, we'll use some yellow blue.
Ah, I know. All right. So why do you do yellow and blue? Is it because they are complementary colors, so it gives more contrast, or you just pick those two colors just randomly?
No, I really thought about it. I thought about all those awnings, and I thought about the way that design is done in France. The playful use of color. They're not complements, but they are friends. They're close. They're in that space in the color wheel, because blue would be more of a complement with orange, but yellow is quite adjacent to that. So it gives you a little bit of the zazz without making you get into the deep complement.
Oh yes, in fact I made a mistake. I think complement. I know it's not right. I meant primaries. They are part of the key primary. No, of course they are not complementary. Sorry,
maybe they're friendly with each other. Maybe what they do is they say, How are you? You look very nice today. I love how pretty you are. They can be complimentary in another way. I'm going to add a little shadow under your nose.
Like that? Oh my God.
And I'm going to use the phthalo blue to do that.
Oh my God.
And my paper towel is my best friend because if I have too much pigment, I can always go back and pick up.
Oh my eyes are huge. I didn't know I had such big eyes. Scary.
Big eyes, but what was really wonderful was to see how big your smile was.
So, which color do you put in my lips? No, is it?
I think I'm going to put a mix of this beautiful kind of magenta red here and a little bit of the ultramarine blue, just a bit, so it was a little more mauve. And I'm going to come here and think about that and that space. And where it goes, it bleeds, I'll just come back with my brush and soften.
So with a little bit of blue?
Just a little bit of blue.
Of which one? The ultramarine or the phthalo?
Ultramarine. Anytime you do ultramarine gets a bad rap. People pick on it because they say it doesn't make a good purple and it doesn't make a good green, but it actually does. Everyone just forgets it's got a little bit of red hidden in it. So if you use magenta with your ultramarine, you get some beautiful purples. It's a very wonderful paint. Picked on in my mind.
You know, I did like a little story, which I did before when I was at the plein air. You know, they asked me a lot of questions, historical questions in the 19th century. So ultramarine is one of those very special, it's called French ultramarine. In France, we just call it ultramarine. And it's a blue that was invented in France at the beginning of the 19th century to replace lapis lazuli. Before that, you know, the blue was so expensive. You couldn't afford blue. You had to buy those semi-precious stone, and grounding was very complicated. So ultramarine is a very important thing. Okay. Anyway,
it is a very important color. It's it you know, the modern colors came in, and I think you know, people were like, oh well, this makes this bright green, but I still love my ultramarine blue.
Yeah,
I still love it. I feel like it still is one of my very favorite colors in my paint box. And add a little more of the ultramarine to your hand here and make some shadows. And I think I'm going to come in and just apply some shadows here and there where your hand and fingers are. I love about watercolor is that when it dries, it continues to settle and rest into the paper. And so it's not even really finished when you think it's done.
So I don't see you anymore. Can you give me a
yeah,
otherwise,
you're too busy filming my art, John.
I did the blue eye and the pinkish lips. What's next for me?
So let's look here. We have some blue in our skin and our hands. We've started to put in some value, add in some shadow. We've added some darker areas in the yellow. And you can just use more yellow to imply the shadow, which is kind of fun when you think about it, that you can use a stronger yellow to imply a shadow. How fun is that?
So
it's out of your way, doesn't it? Let's put a shadow on your arms. So your arms, these energetic arms that you have.
So underneath the
arm, the
armpit?
Yeah, you need some extra yellow in your armpit and under your collar so we can see it. See how it pops?
So here then, sort of here, right? And then the color, like here. A little stronger here, stronger there, I guess.
Yeah, just be playful. You already have strong structural lines, so how you choose to paint it really is about what you choose to put in there and like how you choose to pull the color in.
And that's what I say, but you know, that's what I say. That's not what I do necessarily. Is you know my analogy of food. As long as you start with a good paper and a good color, you know.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's kind of easier. Of course, you can mix everything and make mud, that's the risk. That's why less is more, especially in watercolor, because watercolor is not a medium you can layer and layer over. It gets muddy. But usually, if you do it gently on one shot and you don't go over and over, if you have a nice paper, a nice color, it's okay. Should be
It
okay.
really is.
So which color are you putting right now?
I'm putting a little purple to kind of imply a bit of dynamic shadow around your eyes and along the smile lines along your face.
So purple, you just made the purple with red and blue?
I just made a little purple. This palette makes a very nice little purple. It's this red and this blue. Makes a lovely little purple. And where it got a little excited and ran away with me, I can just come back with my brush and pick it up, because brushes have a two-way street. And anywhere I want to soften anything, I can come back and soften.
So you put some purple around the eyes. And you know, that's another thing. You know, the other day I was talking, no, I forgot, it was not on the live. It was on the plein air live, because I had a few hundred people watching me, and I was talking about is the notion of a color. In the 19th century, what was the big revolution in art is that concept. It started in France in mid 19th century, where people started to paint, not necessarily using the color that they see, but color that they were inspired. Like you said, the vibration, the impression, that term impressionism. And that's one of the beginning of when people would use not paint, not to reproduce exactly what you see color per color, but you go a little stray and use the color that vibrates, that inspires you. And it got shocking. I mean, that's why the Impressionists got thrown out of the Salon and of the Academy, because they didn't follow the code. But look, now you know more about the French Impressionists that were refused, les refusés, now, and the people who were then, you know, on the top of the hierarchy of art, we don't even know their name anymore. So you see, this is break the rules, right?
You have to please yourself first, right? Pleasing the establishment is, I don't know, something that happens for some artists, but I think it should be a very loose goal.
Yeah, and this is the biggest problem I can see with the people who are intimidating by painting. They are afraid to make a mistake. They are afraid that it's not going to look good. They're afraid that people may make fun of them. They're afraid that it's not going to look like they wanted. And I have news for you. Just do it. Just have fun. Who cares what people think about your painting? This is the biggest. People are so paranoid. You know, just have fun. Play.
Back in here. Give me a second.
So your purple, I did the eyes. Can I see what did she put the purple?
Yeah, well, you can come right on in on that. You can come right in. Okay, I love it. I love what you're doing. Look at you. You have so much energy in that. And you're so bright with your colors.
Can I put a little purple underneath also, or just on top?
Yeah, you can put a little purple around there. You know, and remember, like, you can always, like, blend in or do some things, and we're going to have some fun if our paper
swing the camera around here so I can grab
I'll do this too so you can see this. I have to let this rest anyways. Mine's taking a break. All watercolor needs to break, and so I'll put this here, and then we're
you know, I never realized that my skin was blue. Thank you.
It's blue. It's ultramarine blue, French ultramarine blue.
So what you just keep blue?
You're getting so many hearts. Everyone is loving it. So just be grateful. I mean, you can just take water.
Which color should I do? Black? Which color should I do? How do you call the eyebrow?
I used a little bit of the yellow ochre. I went in with the yellow ochre. I kind of tied in the yellow energy, and I did a little bit of the yellow ochre there.
Okay. Yellow ochre. Yeah. When you said yellow, I put yellow, so it's going to be yellow with yellow. That's pretty light, no? Okay. All right.
You know, I mean, a guy just taped a banana to a wall and got several $100,000. So I think we ought to be able to paint how we like.
Yeah. No, I was there.
Were you
You know, I
there?
was in Miami. I was in the, at Miami Basel when
Yeah.
the thing at the Perrotin Gallery. So I saw it before and I saw it after. Now, after you didn't see it, there was just a thing, but it
No,
was
because
so
the guy
fun.
came by and ate it. The other artist came by and ate the man's display.
I remember a famous artist who used to smash watermelons with a mallet.
It's so interesting to see everybody's reaction to it. Like at first, I wasn't sure, but then after I saw the world react to it and the art they made in response, I said, well, now there's something.
Yeah.
That then made it something, didn't it? That conversation. And so I think if we just acknowledge that it's all okay, it's all valid, then you can just relax and play and not be too hard on yourself because we're not entering an art show. Right?
No,
It's painting.
exactly. And so it's just so much fun. I'm having fun. I would have never thought of putting some blue on my face and this. So now the nose. Give me a tip on my nose.
So I'll show you some tips, and I'll go first. And if John can come around, I'll show you some nose
Sure.
tips. So
Thank God I have Andrew. I don't know if you realize. I'd like next time I'll video film Andrew because he's such fantastic.
So under your nose, I would suggest making a shadow that comes down a little bit and then back up. This is really nice. Sometimes we do noses and we forget that they cast shadows.
Okay, so and the shadow is blue and something, blue and.
It's just blue. And then I'm going to put a little shadow under your lip here of blue, just to kind of define its space now that the paint is dry enough to let me do that. Sometimes with watercolor, it has to be dry enough to work, right?
Yes, I mean it depends. Watercolors is very different. You have wet on wet, wet on dry, dry on wet. It reacts very differently. And as many watercolor artists talking about, is the happy accident is that you let the water flow. It's a water medium, so the water bring a lot to the painting if you let it go. So since I didn't know, I wasn't sure which blue, so I mixed both blues. Huh?
Well, they're wonderful together. I often, in my classes, use ultramarine blue and phthalo blue with each other because the ultramarine is biased red and the phthalo is biased green. And so it kind of creates a little hidden primary situation in there, which always makes drama, little hidden drama. But for right now, I'm just doing a little bit of shading and I'm helping these areas kind of take form, right? And I'm just making these light little marks where, I know that we're going to
Show me something.
have some personality.
What? Oh, here. Which color do you putting by the
I'm
eye?
just using ultramarine right now, and I'm finding, like, I'm going to add a little bit, here at the eyes, and just maybe on the inside of where your nose would take shape. I don't have to paint everything there, just some.
Oh yeah, and we don't paint. You remember? I'm learning because my first thing, and I wrote it down. Art keeps giving. Do you remember? Were you there when Seiko was painting and she was explaining she leaves always some open space, some white, because she says when you don't finish your painting, it gives the opportunity for the person who looks at it to imagine the rest of the painting. So she says the art keeps giving. So you always leave a little bit of imagination. If you cover everything on the painting, you have nowhere to go with your imagination. So I thought it was interesting.
I think I want to create some kind of expressive energy behind you.
Oops.
In this, like as if you're having a very big eureka moment out somewhere in the world. I can do this now because the hat is dry. And I'll just make expressive little brush marks They don't have to be perfect. They're just the energy of that moment. And it's kind of painting a little bit of our negative space, which kind of gives other parts of this shape. Sometimes when we paint the negative space, it's as important as the subject matter that we're painting. And it's important to be playful, and you can kind of see how those lines are very playful. And that informs back to the beginning of what we were talking about in this portrait, which is that you're very playful. And then anywhere the darkest and lightest contrasts are, that tends to be the focus. I want to pull this up a little bit because I don't want this to be that much of the focus.
So I totally not really following what you do, but I'm listening a little bit, but it may not transpire at all of what you're doing, because I'm not.
That's okay. But that's, you know, you paint your way. You're doing a self-portrait. I'm going to add a little glaze of extra blue here.
Oh,
Again,
I forgot. Me. It's me in there. Shoot.
Yeah, you're doing a self-portrait. You're painting yourself. You're speaking to your story.
I would never knew that's something very scary for me. You know, I can play with color, you know, like I said, you know, beautiful colors, but to do a self-portrait, that's always been scary. It's interesting because I said that even though I remember coaching kids at school, even my kids at like toddler, we would go to the school and Maureen or I, and then tell them to do their own self-portrait. It was hilarious.
Well, I think it's important to do self-portraiture on occasion. I think we sometimes don't think well of ourselves, or we don't see ourselves as we are. We get a little disconnected. And when you do a self-portrait, I do them every once in a while. A lot of artists do them yearly. It kind of lets you touch base with where you're at. It's fun, yes? I love what you're doing. It's so expressive. And also, you can tell the things about yourself that you think are important.
I have an idea.
With your emphasis.
I have an idea. Is that pink, right? That's sort of pink. How about if I put pink button?
Yes, put pink.
Huh?
Put pink, definitely. You definitely want to put pink. Anything you feel.
You know, I need a little more bluish here.
Tracy is asking if anybody recommends certain brushes, so I will defer to Cinnamon and Pierre on that one.
Well, I would say I recommend Raphael brushes.
So brushes, thank you. Well, I don't know if we talking about the brand. My two favorite brands is Raphael and Isabelle. Originally, Isabelle even more, but actually they're both very good. But depends what you like. Like for instance, you know, if you want heavy wash, like this brush, look, you know, I'll show you something. You can go, you can be loose. You can go like crazy like that. See, I can go with a brush like that. I can just play, you know, not even thinking of anything, you know. Or you can do, you see how, and then you let the water do the job. You don't even pay attention. Or you can go and take a, you know, a Kolinsky, you know, very fine hair, you know, and you want to do, you know, a little detail. So you have like a very tiny point and you can go and detail. So it depends your style. You can be very loose. One of my favorite is like the squirrel like this, because you can, or you can do the soft aqua. Soft aqua is a good combination because it's actually an imitation of squirrel. It's a wavery fiber, synthetic fiber, and it's so much fun. So it's really the brush should be, it's your personality. You know, if you are more tidy, precise, you use more like a 84-4 from Raphael. If you want loose, you would have more like soft aqua from Savoir-Faire. So it depends, the brush should be an extension of you, of your personality, of your energy. I don't know if that answers.
I think that makes perfect sense. I like to say the best brush you have is the one you'll use.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
you have to find brushes that you love. You don't want to just buy brushes, because somebody famous paints with them and they're very expensive and then you're afraid to even use it. You want to find brushes that you're willing to put in your hands and use every day and are quality and will treat you well.
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point because there've been, that's always what it used to be. The brush would be a tool of an artist. An artist in the old days, he would keep their brush like very, very precious. It was their tool, their main tool, and they would take it with them. They would dry it, shampoo it, condition it, and keep it, dry it, and keep their brush forever. And the brush, even the shape of the brush follows your gesture. So you would in love with your brush. What happened about 20 or 30 years ago in America and now the rest of the world, there was that notion of disposable brushes. And we have the invasion of cheap brush. Mainly, I don't want to single out China, but it started there. In Asia or cheap factory, and people started to use brushes as disposable. Paint up and throw it away. If that works for you, it's okay. But I believe, and Cinnamon can, of course, tell what you think. I think you're much better off spending a little more on a brush that you're going to keep forever because you get used to it. It becomes your extension.
I'll tell you a secret. You can spend as much money on a watercolor brush as you want because with good care, they last so long.
Yeah.
You'll probably end up giving them to your kids.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's more, for watercolor, it's more important like acrylic, let's say, because acrylic, if it dries, so it's just water. And if you have just a little discipline of washing, rinsing your brush afterwards and putting it flat, not leave it on the thing, you can keep, I know people who have their watercolor brush for dozens of years. So, yeah.
I really think so. And again, with the paint, it lasts so long and it goes so far. You can just enjoy what you want to do with your watercolor. And the paper, like I said, I went through every sheet I have. Being home as this much and having free time to think up things, I find that I am filling more and more and more and more of my time. I used to say I'm a daily painter, but now I think I've moved into being an all-day painter. I have a morning session and then an afternoon session, and then if the news bothers me, an evening session. So it's all day.
And I want to say something about this because during that confinement and a lot of my friends and many of them are alive today, which are great artists, teachers who travel all over the world giving workshops, so whenever I would talk to them about material, they were always fascinated and interested and wanted to try, but never had the time. And, most of them spending 3 or 4 months without traveling, they got really deep into experimentation, and all those samples I've been giving them all those years, now they're using it. And I said, oh my God, Pierre, this color that you gave me is fantastic. I said, yes, when did I give you that? I don't remember. Yes, it was 3 or 4 years ago. Don't remember at the convention. It took you that long to try it. So what I'm saying is right now it's a very good time to experiment. There's nothing more fun to try new things. And that's also the notion of if you're a great medium, you use a certain way, certain medium, change right now, play. That's why it's playful. And when you use another medium than what you know to be the expert, it's much more free because you have no pressure. You can just play and just do it for the journey.
And I want to add to what you were saying at the beginning of your stream. I've been saying this on my stream. Keep those masks that you're buying because they're wonderful to have in an art studio. There's all kinds of reasons that you need masks. I had a bunch of masks before this happened in my art studio for sanding paintings or for aerosol, you know, doing things. So, you know, for us artists, they're good forever. I'm going to get a masked wardrobe going.
Yeah.
And statements for my different moments. I've just decided to lean into it and enjoy it.
Now,
But in this meeting, I didn't put you in socially distance. I didn't mask you. I let you be open mouth.
Oh, you see, I made a mistake, but it's going to be beautiful. I stained my shirt. Hey, Sherpa, what do? I stained my shirt. I have a big red blobs on my shirt.
That's wonderful. Maybe that's for your big heart.
I'll do her heart.
Now,
Okay.
Pierre, we may want to ask Cindy, if Cindy's listening right now, I'm sure she is, if we have a winner for our drawing. We have yet to announce that, and I want to make sure we do it verbally.
Yes, because I want to remind everybody that we are on Instagram Live, and we have limited time, and sometime, often, regularly, they would cut us off, and they can start cutting us off. They could start cutting us off in the next 3 minutes. So we can continue on, Cinnamon, but be aware that we could get shut off in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
I just need to know, does this look like you?
I don't know.
I hope it does.
I think it does. Pierre can't see it just yet, but I think it does. Maybe inside the mouth. Should you do dark inside the mouth? Like shade? Or
I think you just clean your brush, use your wet brush, and kind of swirl around what you already have there, the paint.
Well, and I went in, when the paint was dry, I used the Edding 1880.02 liner that you guys have.
Oh.
It's this one right here. I love these Edding 1880s. They're wonderful. They are pigmented, so they don't fade out on me. I know I'm always, and they're light fast. With markers, you really have to watch for that. Any pens or any of your instruments, you have to make sure that they say light fast. If you're going to do any washes over them, they need to be waterproof too. But this one goes on top, and these have been wonderful. Especially when you give somebody art supplies, they use them. I used it. Love it.
Well, thank you.
And Cindy has let us know a couple of times that Noeletta Cardenas won the drawing today.
Noeletta! Oh my gosh! That is so exciting!
All right.
Oh, that's perfect.
I see Noeletta in the chat.
All the time.
I see her there in chat.
She has got to be so excited. She is a constant painter. She does so much artwork. She's going to get so much use out of that.
Oh, so you know her.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Like, not in a way that would remove her from the contest, but she's online and she paints, and I see her paintings, and so, yes, I know her.
All right.
And sometimes she comes and paints with me.
And
She's got to be excited. She's a fantastic person.
And I think it could cut us off at any moment. So I want to invite Cinnamon and Pierre to say any closings that they would like to give.
Well, you know, my final closing, it's one way, but no, I want to thank you, everybody, to come here every Friday. It's so much fun. I mean, you know, I do those live. People say that sometimes I have up to hundreds of people watching live, and I have my friends saying, "Oh, but aren't you nervous? And you know, how is it?" But you know, first of all, thank you, Andrew and Cindy. I have a fantastic team to help me out. But it's fun, you know. It feels like I'm coming home and saying hi to my friends. And I love the fact that you guys talk to one another offline or whatever. So for me, it's become a rendezvous of fun with my friends every Friday. So I have no stress, nothing. It's so much cool, and I'm having fun. So thank you, all of it. And Cinnamon, what would be your word of wisdom?
Well, I would like to say thank you to everybody at the Savoir-Faire team. I so appreciated getting to be here today, and I love getting to paint you with you. That was quite a lot of inception fun for me. I would like to encourage all of the Instagram art family to go out there and do pieces and hashtag back to Savoir-Faire and let them know what you're up to. You guys are such great advocates for the arts. And come back every Friday to see what they're doing because they're such interesting people and they do this giveaway thing. And it's always fun and we get to see what Pierre is doing, which I love how brave you are.
And one more thing I'll ask you, Cinnamon, is what should our hashtag be for anyone who wants to post their painting of Pierre?
I think it should be Paint Pierre.
All right. So Cindy, let's make it Paint Pierre.
And you know what? And I'm making a commitment. We the paint, and I will ask maybe my wife Maureen to pick her favorite, and we'll buy that painting.
I love it. So if they paint you and hashtag it Paint Pierre and Maureen picks their favorite, you will buy the painting.
Yes.
I love it. I think she should pick yours.
Well, so
it's really fun to paint people, isn't it?
So we go. What? So are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Go paint! Love you! Merci, 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 merci. Woo!